So I go to a Willis Henry auction. It was kind of a dull auction, and all of a sudden, he puts up this painting of an archer. But then the other half of the painting is missing, so we don't know what he's shooting at. And the bid gets up to 35, and I get the painting. And I'm thinking, holy smokes, I think that might be an N.C. Wyeth. I'll have to check with Gay Youse, who's an expert on paintings, and by God, she decides it's definitely an N.C. Wyeth because of the hands. The hands are rough and dirty, and they're manly, and so forth. Drive it up to Port Clyde, Maine, where Andrew Wyeth now has taken over the residency of N.C. Wyeth Summer House, and I met Crow Morris and the harbor master right in port with Walt Anderson, who's also there, and he's a friend of mine, but he's also a subject of many, many Andrew Wyeth paintings. Of course, Walt is drinking a Pabst Blue Ribbon because that's what he drinks by the ton. And I show it to the boys, and he says, you know, I think that's an N.C. Wyeth. Crow Morris is looking at this painting, and he says, I think I saw him paint this. So Walter and I take the painting over to Carolyn's house. And she looks at it somewhat in a disrespectful way, and she says, I don't think it's my father's work. He never painted anybody as ugly as that, as stern looking as that. We were getting brushed off, so we said, okay, we'll take it up to Rockland, to the Farnsworth Museums. And these little men come out from everywhere, and they look at the painting, and they're very impressed, and they say, it's not a copy. You're gonna have to take this over to Andy himself. It looks like it could be an NC, and probably is. So then Walter and I get in the car, and we have an appointment to see Andrew at some point. Walter Anderson is pretty high on Pabst Blue Ribbon by 10 o'clock in the morning, so he forgets what time we're supposed to be there. We get there early, and we have to drive around, and we come down, and then we get turned around, and somebody says, well, you have to come back later because his appointment is at 1 o'clock. So we turn around, we go down to this fish shack and have some chowder and a couple more Pabst Blue Ribbon. And then we go up to Andy's studio. Now, in the meantime, Crow Morris has started a rumor that we found this painting in the house over on the Upper Island with 5 bags of gold up under the eaves. And so we take it over to Andrew Wyeth's house, and Walter has said, park behind that truck right there, Al. So I park behind the truck, and we start to get out, and by God, the truck starts backing up and smashes into my car. And Andrew, of course, is laughing like crazy because he says, you know, that same thing happened to my daughter. So then we go into his vestibule of his house. We look around, and then there's a painting up here on the wall, and it has some seagull excrement on it. What have you been doing, Andrew? And Andrew says, shit. So, and then we go in and we have some scotch, and we have some more scotch, and then pretty soon we're looking at the painting, and everybody's having a good time, and Andrew says, yeah, I think that's my father's work. Now we go back to Port Clyde, and you know Crow Morris, he's a storyteller, so now he's already said, well, Al and Walter go over to Andrew Wyeth's house, and they have a few scotches, and then pretty soon Andrew leaves the table and goes up in the attic, and he comes down with the other half of the painting. And that rumor starts over in town again, and I'm pretty famous by then, and I'm just about ready to leave, and I say, well, I think we'll just go home now. we get in the boat, start across Herring Gut, and there's Crow Morris out in his boat that has an outhouse in the middle of it. Well, it isn't an outhouse, actually. It's a little steering column which he hides behind when the weather gets bad. And, but it looks like an outhouse. And so anyway, he waves over. He says, Al, come on over here. Come over. So I cut my engine and we drift over there. And he said to me, he says, Al, have you ever had so much fun with your clothes on in all your life?